promiscuous. Now, that is another thing that has to do with the social concept and the social morale of the society. So yes, some women can be promiscuous. Yes, men can be promiscuous, but it has to do with the society. It has to do with the culture of the people in that environment.
Interesting that, Isi, you're talking about it as being a generalization. If I hear you correctly, that means it's not all women.
It's not all.
While there are women who are out there and who are generally promiscuous, not all women have made it to the top
being
or
promiscuous.
to being successful through promiscuity.
Absolutely.
But if I may ask this, as in, this is an age-old argument, and I'm sure psychologists will have a whole lot to say when it comes to all of this. But why is it that when a woman makes it in life, they are termed to be, or in any society, given society, they make it to the top, they are termed to be promiscuous, or maybe, oh, she must have slept with slept her way through the ranks, right? Or she may have, I'm sure she's done some. It always boils down to having not done it legitimately.
Yes. Right. Why don't they attribute the same thing to the men?
To the men. Coincidentally, we also have men who are successful, a lot of men who are successful, who can be termed promiscuous. But in a certain understanding or perspective, it is not seen to be, they are not seen to be stigmatized.
That's why I said it's cultural based and it's gender based.
Okay. So because I was going to ask NJ the question, is it a statement of fact that because we're in a patriarchal society where the man, whatever the man does, he can hurt no one. So he can get away with doing a lot of things. While for the woman, why is the emphasis, why is the spotlight on women? Is it because it's a patriarchal society, so they should always attribute their sense of worth and sense of authority under a man? What are your thoughts?
Well, I will start by answering the question. Yes, I feel I am of the opinion that it's because of the kind of culture and the kind of environment we find ourselves in. You know, women are supposed to, in this side of town, women are supposed to be seen, not heard. So you're not supposed to have an opinion. You're not supposed to, there are things that people don't expect you to do in public. You know, there's certain misconceptions that are just there, and just because you're a woman and just because of the kind of environment we find ourselves in. So we're bound to have this kind of arguments and this kind of issues of women being stigmatized and it not taken seriously when it's the other gender, and women being looked at as being promiscuous once they're successful, and the fact that you have to climb a ladder by climbing with your hands on your,
or you have to use what you have
to get
what you want.
And it's quite, I wouldn't lie, if I can speak freely from personal experience, it's not enjoyable. You know,
have you had experiences where people
oh, definitely.
Especially for young people
had comments
who have suddenly found themselves being successful.
People just comment, oh, you're fine, you're a pretty lady, I'm sure you don't lack anything. You're not in lack of anything. You have someone paying your bills, you have someone doing this for you.
Why is that assumption?
I really don't understand how we got here, but the thing is that I'm happy that we're getting to that point where women are actually standing up for themselves and for not having
breaking the bias
and not allowing this kind of misconception to go on and to go on addressed.
Okay.
So yes, we have hands, And I feel like women should be given some level of credit because they actually work hard. We have gotten to the point where we are even fighting, they will say feminism, but where we are even fighting for certain rights and certain, and it's not just because we want to be equal. I don't want to be equal with any man. Like, I don't have, everyone was created differently. You have your JD when you came into the world, and I have mine. So I just believe we should stick to that. But yes, where we see that adjustments can be made and that would be equally beneficial to everyone. You know, for the longest time, the men have been slaving and working hard, and women are getting that opportunity to actually put in their own, you know, their own worth within the family, within the financial, you know, not just leaving the finance and all the caretaking to the husband. The responsibility to the husband.
The men.
So, yes. So I think we should. It's important for us to see from that angle and not just try to, you know, criticize that, you know, that drive to want to do, to actually not just, we don't want to be more than the men, we just want to be able to put in our own quota and have a voice and actually be seen and be heard.
Now, if I may step in there, you know, there is something that she said that actually resonated with me. That I decided to think about how the world has actually evolutionized or something.
Yes.
Evolutionized. So we have women of old and we have women of today.
Yeah.
The way women thought back then, is totally different from how women are thinking today. Women want to stand their grounds. Women want to step up to the plate. They don't want to just sit back at home and be the housewives that the husbands
the generations are different.
Expect them to be. So women are actually stepping up to the plate and speaking with every voice that they can speak with. And because they're doing this, they're not just doing this because they want to do it. They're doing it because they need to do it to have their own voice.
Yeah.
Basically, because if you do not stand up for yourself as an individual, no one will stand up for you. So based on this, and the fact that women have evolutionized based on the mindset and the growth of how the society has metamorphosized.
Metamorphosed.
So we have things like this actually playing out, and we have to, the people, in quote, have to understand that a woman who is actually stepping up to the plate, who is successful, who is making her own money and making her own way, and, you know, trying to live life and be happy with herself, doesn't necessarily mean that she is doing it for someone to actually take note of her and pay her bills, or she must have slept her way up to the top. But she's doing it for herself.
Okay.
She's doing it just for herself, to make herself feel okay. Basically.
You see, I hear you.
Yeah.
But the same women, even though you said women have evolved,
Yes.
I hear you clearly.
Absolutely.
But it's the same way. If you go on social media, there are people who are complaining about being called out on different, you know, being called names. I think I read through Nancy's write-up, and I saw where she was saying, I also saw another actress or something, or somebody else who was venting as well, saying people calling her names, that sometimes you go out, you're working hard, you're doing all of these things, and then you come back to meet over 1,000 trolls. People calling you out and calling you names and doing all sorts of things. So, and if you do like a rain check, you'll find out that majority of those people are even women.
Now,
there are women who are doing these things, and then you're wondering that is it really the men that are, you know, accusing women of being promiscuous, or the women have problems with fellow women, just because they have a voice, or they have come to have a voice, they are doing something for themselves, they are making a name for themselves outside of the umbrella of a man. But at this point, we will take a short break.
You need a
Let us go and take water, cool down, because I think the tensions are rising. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
If you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we are discussing why people associate promiscuity with successful women. Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. Let me take the number again, 0818-0, okay? 0818-038-4663, or tweet to us at WayShowsAfrica1 with the hashtag Ways. Our phone lines are now open, so please call us on 0702 500 7749. It's 0702 500 7749. All right, so ladies, we were talking about
Is trolling who?
is it the women? Is it the men?
Look,
Who is the problem? Because
do you want
really,
to take this?
this
I should
is
take it.
this is a
I'll
major.
go ahead
Yeah,
and
so
start.
AJ, I want to
I'll-
hear you
I'll-
because you are young. You know,
Okay.
you are young, and
right.
let's not make it look like, oh, these are married women talking. You are young. You are single. I'm actually advertising you at this point. You are young. You are single, and you are successful in certain clients.
Yeah.
You know what you want. You are able to go for it, and you are working very hard to make a name for yourself. Do you have those experiences where it's women you made mention actually that people are telling you that, oh, you don't have problem because it's assumed that you are
don't
okay.
need anything.
A man must have made you who you are, even if you're not married. And then some of them might be having some underlining grudges to say, oh, and she's not even married, and this and that. So what are your thoughts towards this? Because I feel that women majorly are the cause of this even though it's age old, I believe to an extent there's some level of patriarchy, because they say it's a man's world, right? So when a man does things, he may not bat an eyelid, so to speak,
Let her
right?
talk. I would
They hardly carry
You're
any
tagging.
stigma for being a player. Even a guy, sometimes it's even like a title.
Yes.
When they say, oh, that guy is a player, it's not looked at something to be frowned upon.
And he
like,
has a black book.
that means the guy has record,
He's
he
a
has
bad
history.
boy. You
Yeah.
know,
But
his-
when they use the S word and the A words in the Nigerian context, like one of the words that Nancy used,
Was tagged.
Yoruba, unprintable word that was used, to define women who are successful, so to speak. So, what are your thoughts towards this?
Yes, I would take it from the first angle you took it from, which
Very
is,
quickly, while we're expecting a call. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I'll take it from the angle of, yes, sometimes or most of the time, I feel like in most cases, it's women, doing pew-pew at themselves. It's the case of, that kind of thing. So,
I like pew-pew.
Yeah, because when men, most of the time, if you look at how things go on social media, men talk from one point of view. Once you start talking about women, it's just it's all out war. Like they always, there's always that negativity in the opinion. But yes, there is that angle because of lack of understanding and a misconception that has been there over time, based on like what we have said, culture and everything, how men are seen and how women should be seen, but not because there's that difference. Now women are evolving. And the lack of ability to be able to keep up with the changes is causing us to come up with different ways of, viewing it, which is promiscuity. When a woman wants something different, it's not the norm. You're seen as being wayward. You're seen as being, you're out there.
And another thing about women is that we are quite opinionated. When you're not doing something the way we want you to do it, or you're not presenting yourself in a particular way, the way we expect you to present yourself, then that is where we now say, oh, you should have tied buba and wrapper, not a trouser.
Or you shouldn't buy a car now.
Oh God, you should say that
You shouldn't stay in a house.
You shouldn't live by yourself. You're not married yet. Things like that. And that is also, making the woman think low of herself. And women have the attribute of trying to pull other women down, in the concept that when a woman is trying to pass her message across, it might be coming from a perspective of, I wish I was like her, but since I'm not like her, I'm not getting as much attention as she is, which is what the other ladies are actually facing. Let's call a spade a spade. But instead of us to look at it from that perspective, what would we do? Well, we'll shred the woman.
Like crabs in a bucket.
Exactly, and pull her down and make her feel lower than she actually is. And what happens in this is that the woman feels that she has been disrespected. Instead of her to actually, step up in her game, she actually goes into her shell. Now, in some cases, like people like the successful women, instead of them to go into their shell, what would they do? They come out and stand up tall because their confidence is speaking for them, and they want to make more money and make more things happen for themselves. So when a woman finds herself in this position, look at the women that are actually trolling her.
Okay.
They are not up to par.
Yeah.
They are not up to par. So when you have such, if you are a woman and you're successful and you have everything going for you, just keep moving and keep breaking the barriers and keep breaking the boundaries.
It's a major problem, Issy. You have I love the direction that you brought it from, because it is the Holy Book would say, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. So you find a lot of people, and we mentioned something about programming, right? So we mentioned that in the society that we find ourselves, we have been programmed to think that every of our success must come under the umbrella of a man. And then when women try to break that bias and stand for themselves and make something out of their lives outside of that context, it's seen that you're either uncontrollable by a man, or you are even a man. You are competing with the men. You are not. So that is why people will frown at women being in the boardrooms. That would be so. And then when you are seen in the boardroom, she must have slept her way to the top. So things like that begin to seep into the society. Now, for women like that, why? I'm not saying that there are women who are not promiscuous. Generally, I think that's a statement of fact that there are women who are promiscuous as well as men.
Yes.
If not so much more than the women.
Yes.
Right? But because of culture, social power is always attributed to promiscuity, especially from the perspective of a woman.
Yeah.
So how do we be, I'm just saying, we're waiting for calls to come in. You can call us again at 0702 500 7749, because we really want to know what you are saying concerning this matter. The same women that are trolling, we want some of you to come out and air your views. It's true, because and the funny thing is that a lot of people are nameless and faceless. So because you can open social media accounts that you are not held accountable to, you now begin to troll people. You now begin to say all kinds of things.
I think that's a
even with women who have made it successfully without, and of course, in Nancy's industry, which is the
entertainment
the
industry.
entertainment industry, it is is a huge bias in that regard.
I
Once
agree.
you're young, once you're pretty, it's just assumed that
Something
no.
must
This
have
one, and
given.
she's getting roles. You're not seen for the success of your skills. You're not seen for the hard work that you're putting into
time.
the venture that you believe in so much, and the sense of worth that you want to give yourself. And there are many women across, over the years. I mean,
Yeah.
when I remember entertainment, I quickly remember the likes of Marilyn Monroe. I remember, and I say, okay, those
Let's
are
set the bar.
typical. Yeah, the typical people that I say, these were the grandmothers,
The godmothers.
of promiscuity during that time.
Now,
So I'm still asking, is it what brought us to this place? What is it, apart from culture? What else do you think is responsible for women generally? Why can't it? I know we've talked about programming, but why can't it just come that these women are just successful for owning their onions?
because there has been a breakdown in moral standing of people, basically. So when you're talking to people, and of course the advent of social media has not helped us as well, because when something happens right here, is like a breaking story. Everybody gets to know about it, basically. So you see,
So there's a lot more news out there.
there's a lot of news, there's a
It's
lot
not that
of
it hasn't been
information out there, and because of that, you have the stories from different angles. Now, look at the story that happened with the slapping incident.
Yeah, exactly.
The moment it
When she came in, she was
Yeah.
she was actually accused with unprintable names. But I think we have a caller on the line, so let's just hold that thought because you just raised some buzz now.
Yeah.
So we have a caller on the line.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening. You are live.
Leave my sister in the house.
Good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome.
Yeah, this is Lawman from Mumbai.
Oh, Loman,
Yeah,
good to have you. Loman for Abia
Yeah.
State. Yes, your comment, please.
Yeah, there is a question you asked. What brought about society? If a woman is successful, what is the thing that maybe she sought herself, maybe she had an affair with a man in order to do it. Let me tell you one thing. Some women, I will not generalize you. Once they are successful, you can't control them again. The way they will talk to you, the way they will reduce you, even who are you? If you need money, I will just make sure I reduce you to the level you are. Some of them is because of the language or the way they talk to people in the society. That is what makes us. Because some of them are get power, make themselves a demigod. That is why some of us will always say, maybe you have a godfather who you are defending that makes you to be successful. But there are people that are women who are really successful and they are even humble to the core. These are the women we are talking about. Those people who their successful life does not enter into their head, does not enter into their life, they still respect their man. So majority of things that happen is because the women doesn't respect the man if they get to the top. Some of them, not all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Loma, for your comments. Interesting one there. Oh, completely.
So for him, it's the behavior. So it's the attitude when you are successful that can make you promiscuous. So you see that there is a misconception. People see from their own side. They see the world from
Based
their
on
own
where
side
they're
point of
standing
view.
per time, right?
Yes. So you can't. He says. We're not saying it shouldn't be successful, but don't come and give us
Rub it in your face.
Don't rub it in our face. But I think that for that caller, I would say that happens with success.
Okay, Andre, hold that thought. We have another call on the line. Hello, please turn off the volume of your TV set.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Yes, you're live.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome, Buki from Akure. You're live.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be here this evening. And I want to say you ladies are doing very, very well.
Thank you.
I love your hair. I love your makeup. I love this setting. This is my first time joining the program.
You're welcome.
Well, the topic this evening is very, very interesting. And this is our month. You know, this is March. We celebrate women in March. So I love the topic. Like the last caller said, some women actually got their wealth or their success from promiscuity. We need to be honest. Some of them will tell you hard work pays, but behind the scene,
They're doing things.
what they do are unprintable. So they make it look like the young woman that is working is not working hard enough. But there are some people, some women who actually work for their money. Some people, they have successful women who have made their mark in their various endeavors, and we appreciate them. Those are the people we should celebrate. But those who feel that until they open their legs before they get, whatever, such people should not be celebrated.
Okay.
Yes, that is why most times people attribute successful women, they see them as prostitutes. So we should begin to encourage women to actually work with their hands, be hardworking, and they must be truthful. And they must not make those who have not, gotten their whatever, they see them as if they are lazy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Buki from Akure. Thank you for your thoughts there. Thank you so much. It's interesting, the perspectives that we're seeing it through. Isi, I don't know if you have a comment.
Yes, I do.
Angel, I think you have a comment.
And this is from Iyore from Gombe. And she says, "Good evening, ladies. Women are rarely trying these days. Presently, men will say they don't want liabilities, but when they see strong and independent women, they start tagging them as promiscuous.
Right.
Both men and women are involved in tagging, and this is so sad." Now, there's another comment, though.
Okay, just hold that one. We have another caller on the line. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, you're welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
Peter from Benin.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You're live. Go on.
Okay. I'm going to call like 3 to 4 successful career women, and you will not add promiscuity to their names.
Okay.
Konjo Owala,
Okay.
Resalele Williams, the first female vice chancellor of my university.
Yes. Yes.
Madam Due Process, Ezekiel, the MD of former First Bank, First Bank, Awosheka.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, and Chidima the poet.
Yep. Adiche.
Now, we all agree, those names are called, they are successful women in their own right. Will you say they are promiscuous before getting there? The answer is no. Take it to the entertainment industry. I don't want to call names, but a half-truth is a whole lie. Let's take it down to the Big Brother shows, all the people that have won. Take it to the entertainment industry. There's no smoke without fire. Most of these men, they will drive their wives at home, and the women that have been driven out will call out all these celebrities. Let's face the fact, the generation of now, I just called like 4 women, and we all agree that these women, they were successful in their own right, in their fields. Take it to the entertainment industry of this generation now. The young, beautiful, successful women in entertainment industry. One scandal to the other. But it is not cast in stone in the court. It's not all of them.
Right.
Take Genevieve. Take Joke Silva. Take Mercy Johnson. I'm calling names. Mercy is complaining now. Nancy is complaining now. But the wife of the man called her out. Let me even go to the foreign land. The female foreign minister of America, Madeleine Albright, that died today.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, Margaret Thatcher. Those are successful women without blemish. The younger generation today should look at themselves. Man, know thyself. It is really bad. Thank you very much.
So basically, he's just like what Peter said.
Okay.
This contributor actually stated that we have in the entertainment industry individuals who do not who are termed as promiscuous because whatever they're bringing in can not actually maintain their lifestyles.
Okay. Okay. So they're flaunting it, and they cannot. You can't marry where
The money that they're bringing in and
the lifestyle
that they have currently.
Okay. NJ, let's hear a comment. Quickly.
I have a comment here from Ufoma, and she says, "Hello, ladies. Women and men are not the same. Men and women complement each other. You cannot say because men indulge in vices, women too should do so. Women are the beacons of a society, and you can tell how decadent a society is from the values of the society's women. It's a case of double standards, and both genders suffer it. If a man is accused of molestation of a girl, she automatically gets sympathy from the society, whether proven or not. Likewise, society frowns on promiscuous women. That's why women do not flaunt their body count. Even prostitutes aren't proud of it." Okay, that caught me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let me read my own comment. It says, this is from Daniel. Daniel is one of our super watchers. Daniel, I'm reading your comment, so don't say that we did not read it
Like
out.
you said yesterday.
Yeah, you said yesterday. Good evening, my dear beautiful sisters. Of what are you saying? It is very wrong to associate promiscuity with successful women.
Absolutely.
If a woman wants to be successful, why can't she do it with dignity and command respect? Also, making a living must be done decently. You cannot stand out in the society if you are promiscuous. Because you will be labeled unserious. If a woman needs to make money, let her make it with clean hands and not the other way round. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your comments. It's interesting how the perspectives that we've seen this. But I think what my takeaway would be tonight is that, first of all, this is a generalization.
Yeah.
Successful women are not necessarily promiscuous. Absolutely. And even in the entertainment industry, I dare say, there are a lot of people, even some of the people that have been blacklisted. Get your facts right. Be sure that you have evidence to say that this person is actually living a promiscuous life.
Yeah.
If not, they may likely have made it without the insinuations that accompany. Yes, we miss her. She'll soon be back.
Yes.
All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at Way Show Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all of our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. I don't think anybody in the entertainment industry or in politics is surprised by the fact that those worlds are rife with promiscuity and irresponsibility. Certainly a lack of accountability. And this is by James Spader. We will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring yet another great conversation to your screen. It's bye for now.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. From the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
On the breakfast today, with the glamour of a power shift to the south, the zoning of the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) for the 2023 presidential election has divided the governors and National Assembly members.
Also on the breakfast, the Super Eagles of Nigeria arrived Kumasi for the World Cup playoff of the first leg encounter with the Black Stars of Ghana today.
And don't forget, we also will be looking through today's newspapers and analyzing the biggest stories of the day. Welcome to the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. I am Justin Akadonye.
Now, I am Messi Bopos. Beautiful Friday morning, and as always, you have a lot of people saying, thank God it's Friday. I hope you're saying that already. Okay,
yes, Justin. I am Messi. You don't know how Friday is. Well, Friday, you haven't worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can doze, you can go to the beach, you can just relax and not think about work.
I think you're being very dramatic this morning.
Well, I'm not thinking of going to Nollywood, but the thing is that I prefer the fact that Friday is here, and I'm not thinking of working tomorrow.
Definitely, that's good for you, but not for every other person. So
they'll try and work. They'll try and rest on Sunday. Then.
Yeah, it's entirely not complete.
Yes, it is Friday, and whatever it is, you just have to find and take time to really rest. I think that should be an advice I should give to myself, right? Yeah, anyone should just find time to really rest, because there's nothing like resting after having gone through maybe a rigorous week. Well, Friday it is today, and there are trending gist and trending stories making the rounds across social media, across Nigeria, across the world. Mercy, more declarations ahead of 2023 elections. A lot of people are declaring, Mercy, do you have anybody that is declaring in your family so I could support them, or because it's 20?
To this time you had the fact that a lot of so eventually Peter Obi, and that's getting several reactions, getting a lot said. If you really look at Peter Obi, he never really, Peter Obi never came out to, or there wasn't never a time where he
came all out
talked
to say
about
that you wanted to contest.
Okay, Biafra support, yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Of the Biafran, agitation, or whatever you. So that was, I mean, so you can actually say there's a lot of mixed feelings following his declaration. A lot of people are thinking that this time, it's not late, as much as some people feel like you have other persons who have being ahead of this. I mean, they have been, or they're already out, and they have talked about their intention, and he might just be a little bit late. But you know, the elections, the campaigns are yet to start.
No,
I don't even think that that's an issue. It's okay for people to come out with, you know, intentions and say they want to declare. But we'll quickly hold on to these thoughts. We'll take a break now, and let's quickly roll the tape and look at this one.
Let's hear from
and
him.
when we come through, we'll continue the conversation. Please stay with us.
Thank you for being representatives and what you're doing in your various communities. My job here is simple. Is to inform you people as my own father that I'll be contesting, aspiring, because at this stage, we're all aspirants. I'll be aspiring for the post of President of Nigeria.
Yeah, that's the former governor of Anambra State there, Peter Obi, making his declaration on his intention known to run for the presidency come 2023 amidst, you know, reactions from various stakeholders. You know, Twitter was a buzz yesterday, and the Nigerians are talking. You know, Messi indeed talked about the Biafra inclination and all of that. But then I still believe that if Peter Obi wants to run, he has all legitimate, you know, right to run for presidency. You know, amazingly, to just on Sunday, you know, his state House of Assembly. But the fact is that some people just want to see changes, you know, made in the country, and they feel that one way they can do that is by trying to push themselves out and to make their voices known.
Well, as much as that's very valid, because the Constitution allows for everyone to contest and, you know, vie for political office, vote and be voted for. It's within their constitutional right to do all of that. But you also want to look at the issue of, really, the presidency is a serious issue. Yes, we understand, so it's okay. So we're going to have more persons coming out to,
yes,
you know, put out their intention. At the end of the day, there's a lot to the elections. There's a lot to becoming the president or the governor.
It is a whole
even
lot.
though we know that there's been a pattern, there's been a culture over time, but we're hoping that we're able to, you know, break that jinx and, you know, move forward, right? But there was some time, that's because I really saw someone who said they were going to, I mean, some people would say, if it was in another context, it would probably be said that, you know, it's the issue of racism. But so I took to my Twitter account. I mean, of course, I took Twitter and I said, as much as it's within your right to contest for, I mean, it's within your right to say, yeah, you want to become president and contest for election. But we also need to understand that the office of the presidency is not a joke. Because I've seen a lot of jokes. I would call it a joke. I'm really sorry. It's within your right, but it feels like it's a joke. First of all, you have to belong to a political party. Now, we know the issue that we're grappling with right now in Nigeria. We're talking about the issue of having two dominant parties. Yesterday, we had one of our resource person. I mean, talking about, oh no, I have to remember his name now. Our guest on the show, Ezekiel Yaitok, who said, he feels like the media has been pushing a certain narrative as regards who becomes, you know, a certain narrative as regards political party, those who are contending and all of that. So he feels like the narrative the media has shaped over time to party system. Even though that's not in the books, it's a multi-party system. Well, of course you have two dominant parties.
Ones,
I don't want to mention the name. You know, it probably might just be counted for some set of adverts, but we already know, right?
Yes,
but that's not the point.
Glaring.
So, but as much as you want to look at that, these political parties, one of the things that's unique about them is the fact that, or they have in common, is the fact that they have structures. You talk about structures and the
ideologies
entire, not necessarily, because I don't, if they do have ideologies, I don't know why there's always a cross-carpeting. But the issue is the fact that they have structures. And so structures across the 36 local government. Because those who vote most times, you see all of the rant on Twitter are brilliant, very fantastic, very patriotic, but it doesn't trickle down to you having, you know, a PVC or, getting out on the day of
Most
election
times
to
it ends
vote.
there on social
So
media.
those are the grassroots. You see those grandpas and the grandmas.
The ones who even do
they're the
the
ones who come
actual
out to
voting.
vote. So there's a lot. And what do they recognize? They know two logos. They can understand that it's this or it's that. I will not mention. That's the point.
I get
so
you.
for those of I mean, a lot of persons, I saw one that really triggered me and made me
Which
put out
one
that
was
tweet. I can't tell you. I don't even know what political party, but I felt very embarrassed. I felt like, you know, we think that we're a joke of a country.
No, some
The
people
office of
just...
the presidency is not a joke.
No, that's the...
Within
that's
your
the,
ambience, it doesn't mean
that's
that
the
anyone...
highest,
because I've seen a lot of people just come out and we
position
want
in
to
the
become the
country.
president. Really? How?
Okay, let's move on. Let's just slide away from all of that, because who knows, I just might declare my intention to run. And
you
Mercy, you would support me. You'd be my campaign manager.
Because I'm not, you know, partisan.
Oh, well, an independent candidature, that is. Anyway, this one goes out for guys right now. Would you take contraceptives? Because a research finding just came out, and it was said that male contraceptives are 99% effective. Over time, I will talk about contraceptives. It is more of a woman thing, you know, what they usually would take. Mercy, why are you giving me that face? What they usually take, you know, to avoid them getting pregnant. But right now, men can also take contraceptives, and it has been proven to be 99% effective. Would you, as a man, take contraceptives? Mercy, why are you laughing? I will not take contraceptives. It's as though you're almost emasculating me. Why are you laughing, Mercy?
I don't know. I mean, to be very honest, I really don't know where this conversation is heading. But, you know, it's a very good one.
Is it?
Isn't it? A very good one at a time where we're grappling with population. If you look at our population can be a strength. It can also be a weakness. And I think that for Nigeria, we have a population, if you want to really say, if you look at our population, we're really very productive. And when you have an unproductive population, it calls for a lot of concern.
It does.
So security concerns are there as well. There are a lot of issues. So I really don't know how this would go. It sounds really funny, I must say.
Mercy, let me put it to you. If you were married, would you ask your husband to take contraceptives?
I don't know what that means. I don't understand. But, you know, it sounds like a brilliant idea. I must comment.
Is it brilliant?
Very brilliant idea. Oh, we need to begin
We should leave the contraceptives to you women.
No, I think we need to begin to control. This is actually another form of birth control.
I know it is.
When we talk about birth control, we push it, you know, to the other side of the gender. But it's very brilliant to see
it's a two-way street.
And if it's been found 99% effective, that means that, you know, we're at it right now. And I think that Nigeria should embrace this. We need to get to a point where we begin to control the children that we put out. I don't want to say chunk out. If you say chunk out, it feels like it's production process. It doesn't sound very human. I'm being very sarcastic. I'm being very funny about this one because it's so funny. But I think it's a very brilliant idea. Trust me. Whoever came up with this one did very great. And Africans should begin to embrace this. Yesterday, so I saw a video. I don't know. Did you see that video yesterday?
Which of the videos?
So there's a video that was put out yesterday by God. So why everybody's name skipping my mind?
You're getting old.
Which is okay. Old age is acceptable. So yesterday you have this. So you have a musician. He's very comical. He's always expressing his concern and crush for DJ Copy.
I'm trying to remember.
I think
Age again. I remember that stuff.
I remember his other name that's very popular for. And he talked about that people should begin to have children that they can cater for, children that you're planning for.
I wonder why people have so many kids.
And so if you have male contraceptive right now that's been found 99% effective, boom, it's the solution, it's the answer.
No, we both take, the men and the women.
No, I think if it's 99% very effective, then that's the answer to all of the problems of having children everywhere, you know. Because yesterday, when I watched that video, it was a valid statement. If you look at our population, I see that we have a population that's growing, not at the same way we have production, and it's affecting us.
True.
So some people have said that the Nigerian population is unproductive. And when you have an unproductive population, that means it means you have a population, or you have a group of people that are idle. And when you have idle people, what happens? They say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
And so you begin to look at the crime and criminality in our society. You begin to look at, just take a walk. Just go around the streets of Lagos. And you see a lot of persons who are just sitting out, just doing nothing, really. And so that's a lot. So I think that, Africans and Nigerians would embrace this one despite the cultural bias and religious sentiment that we might have. It's really a good one to see that we're moving away from having the other gender, having the contraceptive, and having the male gender.
We both
Justin,
should.
we need to move away from this now.
Mercy, you and I will take the contraceptives. Not like
Why
we are a couple or something.
I don't understand. I'm saying there's a brilliant idea and it should be accepted. Nigerians should embrace this one. I feel that the federal government should
we'll embrace it since it has been proven to be 99% effective on men. But just in case the men do forget to take the pill, the women should also take it as well. I'm just saying.
No, I think that if the men take it, it will go a long way in solving the problem. And then we might just become...
all of that. I get all of that. But then again, we should go on. Ghanaian president has slashed the salaries of the ministers by 30%. Talk about cutting down the cost of governance. I think we should actually be borrowing some leaf from that here in Nigeria. Mercy, we have like a lot of paraphernalia of office in the country. We've over time talked about bogus pay, jumbo pays in the country. Ministers are getting a 30% slash in the salaries in Ghana. How do you react, Mercy?
Well, I think that this is very brilliant and it's very logical of, the Ghana as a nation and, of course, having President Nana Akufo-Addo taking this decision. Brilliant one. It's fantastic. Now, if you want to look at the rationale behind all of this, is that the West African country, this Ghana, has adopted the measure to reduce spending as the country struggles with higher fuel costs and stalled progress on new tax. Which, like I say, it's fantastic. The essence of this is that the financial problems the financial problems of the country. This is supposed to help, with the issue of salaries, help, reduce cost of spending, which is actually a very logical thing to do.
I agree.
When you have, at the time when, there's a lot that's going on, the cost, inflation is on the high.
Rising, yes.
It's okay to look at your spending and reduce it. And which is, I must say I'm proud of Ghana. I'm proud of what the Ghanaian president has opted to do. I know that a couple of times we have the Nigerian government saying, we may consider reducing salary, cutting down salaries to ensure that, we have this money, but it's just paper talk. Just policy statement, no action. So I don't think this is rocket science. This is pure economics that they're putting into practice, cutting down the salaries. Because if you look at the cost of running government, for instance, Nigeria, we run, in a very expensive government.
We do.
Let's see if I can, run through some of the statistics that's been put out, by experts and researchers. Now, following this announcement, you would also want to agree with the Ghanaian government that they hope to save around $400 million through the latest measures, and that's due to inflation, which I talked about. Okay, so, but you want to come to Nigeria now. I probably might not have all of those statistics, but you would want to also agree with me that the cost of having a two legislative, you have
bicameral legislature.
The bicameral legislature where you have the House of Reps and the Senate is expensive. And that's why when that bill was put out, to create additional 111 seats for women, especially out of what you have already, it's a lot. So who's going to be paying for all of this?
Nigerians.
We will be paying for this, so extra cost for us. So I think that this is fantastic. And then if you look at Nigeria, I don't know if the Nigerian economy and the Ghanaian economy is going through the same thing, but you would just see, a country where people are thinking, where you have leadership that's forward thinking and is saying, hey, we need to reduce this. I've also talked about travels. For those who are traveling, it has to be very mandatory. It has to be very compulsory. It means that all of those excesses where you just travel and go, it's not going to happen. So they're reducing all of that. But what's going on with us?
I saw something. I don't know how true. I saw some documents that are flying all over social media. I think it's somewhere from Plateau State and the government, and they needed to travel. When they brought out the paraphernalia of office and the aid and how much you'll be expending on the trip, mercy, it was over. The amount was just humongous. And if that money were just put into just maybe feeding, indigent residents, that would go a long way. They were supposed to travel for just about a month. I saw the memo. It was, I can't specifically quote the amount, but it was really humongous.
So that's what we constantly talk about. If you look at Africa, especially Nigerians, we're very flamboyant with our lifestyle. I remember a time where a lecturer in the lecture hall asked me, how would you describe the Nigerian government, or what would you say, what is an Owambe government? I should have known that we're talking about the lifestyle, our spending attitude. So you can say the Nigerian government is an Owambe government, a party government, where we spend so much, frivolities, the cost of running, and it would reflect in our budget. Go take a look at the budget. You see how much we pay, we allocate to,
entertainment and feeding and other things.
Current, you call it, when you have your budget, you have the capital expenditure and you have the recurrent. So most times, not most times, often, for a very long time, look at the track record. You find out that we pay more attention, to the recurrent expenditure. And when you look at the recurrent expenditure, what happens? That allocation is being taken is the cost of running governance, paying salaries.
It's expended over just within a year, not on capital stuff that would last for so long.
Exactly. So we spend more monies on running government than spending more monies on projects that will benefit and ensure development. For the theory and the statement is that if you see a government that is very progressive, not that is of the APC, I'm saying progressive government, you will say that it's a government that has that pays attention to capital
infrastructural development.
Because if you pay attention, if you allocate, where your heart is where you begin to check where your money is going. I'm sounding like a preacher now. It just shows that
I've called you deaconess before.
Where your money goes is where your heart is. So you see where the Nigerian money, the budget goes every time is always on the recurrent expenditure. And so that's the money we use to cater for government, pay salaries, run government, and all that. It's too much. At the time when you have, do you also talk about the fact that we have duplication of offices? That's also another case. So you have several offices that are doing the same one and the same thing. So yes,
senior special advisors. Let's just move away from that. That is all we can take on Top Trending for this morning. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll go straight to Off the Press in a moment to join us again.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of gun,
every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God. The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity. No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy.
Politics. It's not just another political conversation. It's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plusttvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
date for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am
Welcome back. It's The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Time for Off the Press is a time where we take you through the pages of the national dailies, the newspaper review, and check out some of the top stories on our front pages. We do have, I guess, joining us this morning, Jide Johnson. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning, Messi, and good morning, Justin.
Good morning, JJ.
Friday.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look at the leadership newspaper this morning on Friday, and as always, our focus would be on the top captioned. On the leadership, the APC convention consensus deal shaky. 24 hours after President Muhammadu Buhari's meeting with aspirants, and that's the bold caption for the leadership this morning. Al-Makura Mustafa invokes Section 82, subsection 3, section 84, subsection 9 of the Electoral Act stipulating written consent of all aspirants to seal consensus. I find this very interesting because yesterday when we were talking, with one of our analysts, we talked about the issue of having people to agree. If you're talking about the consensus, because for the APC, they're saying, oh yes, the APC is taking, they're opting towards what the consensus candidate for the candidate that the president had actually put out. Yes. So they would go for the option of consensus candidate. But we understand what this part of the section talks about. And so now it is what we're talking about. Is there an agreement at the end of this? So you have those who don't feel very comfortable with this, looking at the Electoral Act that stipulates a written consent of all aspirants to seal the consensus. And section 82, subsection 3, section 84, subsection 9 of the Electoral Act stipulates that. A lot's going to go on. That's what some people are, putting out there. President Muhammadu Buhari holds APC founding fathers and lawmakers once again squabbles. These are the riders underneath the bold caption. Again, we have zoning tradition in PDP. IU is quoted to say, zoning tradition in PDP, Obi, that's Peter Obi, joins presidential race under the People's Democratic Party. Fuel crisis. Distributors, IPMAN, resolved to end tanker drivers' strike. And that's also another one amidst the issue of fuel scarcity and all of the hiccups that we're facing at the time. It's time for drastic action to save Nigeria. Former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is quoted to say, I can clear federal government's $97 billion debt in 12 months. Sam Zazuga is quoted on that one. Let's see how he does that. I'm sure that, it would be an idea that a lot of people will embrace. But this is some of the headlines that we can take on the leadership.
Away from the leadership, we'll slide on next to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The lead caption there, North-South in epic battle over presidential ticket. Wike fueling agitation for Southern presidency will reach out to other aspirants, Saraki Tambuwal Mohammed. IU urges aspirants to accept zoning committee's decision. Open contest, best option. Those are the riders underneath that caption there. Other stories are just below the masthead. I'm not aware of consensus. President should campaign for his candidate. That's according to the governor of Ekiti State, Fayemi. Buhari hosts Tinubu, Akonde, Amechi, others to dinner. Also on the Daily Trust newspaper, a fresh controversy of a new Lagos airport terminal. Nigerian Army commences selection process for short service. We are confused by court's orders on Ebonyi governor's defection that's attributed to INEC, and just below the pictorial there, how troops destroyed 49 illegal refineries in Delta State. Those are all the stories you can find on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Away from the Daily Trust, we take a quick look at the Punch newspaper and APC convention. Buhari battles last-minute crisis. Summons governors, chairmanship aspirants fail to agree. I take that again. Buhari battles last-minute crisis. Summoned governors and chairmanship aspirants fail to agree. Just how many more days before that election? It's on the 26th. Okay, so today's the 25th, so you have just a day to go. Let's see how it pans out for the APC. Tinubu, ex-governor Hakonde meets president in Villa over Omosore's choice as secretary. Ruling party bars political appointees from Saturday's national convention. This is what's dominating the papers this morning. And just before we move away, 12,977 children among 207,977 tuberculosis cases recorded in 2021. This is according to the federal government. Yesterday was World Tuberculosis Day. Really, really sad. I mean, if you look at the statistics, the children, about 12,977. Yeah. One would not think that children would be prone to this. This IG distributes 253 trucks, APC, other vehicles, uniform to formation. IG distributes 253 trucks, APC, other vehicles, and uniform for formation. That's what you find. And Fashola reinstates second Niger Bridge 2022 completion date, blames IPOP. Okay? And just before we move away, suspected quarters invited gang member to rape 22-year-old lover. That's what the police is saying right here. A very, very sad story this morning. And capital importation suffers 300, I beg your pardon. Capital importation suffers 30% decline, records $6.7 billion. And CDS Silver orders vow to crush oil thieves. Lament crushing revenue. Ayum Tambuwal Bauchi governor picks presidential form, consult on consensus. IOC's fear collapse as federal government says 1.36 trillion naira crude stolen in 14 months. These are the headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning.
And finally, we reviewed the Nation newspaper. Convention, why we chose consensus option by APC. That's the lead story on the Nation. Party to abide by Electoral Act. President solicits unity among party stakeholders. Above the masthead, Ibrahim ordered to publish court records against AMCON MD. Reps Section 84 subsection 12 remains part of Electoral Act. Reps is saying that Section 84 subsection 12 remains part of Electoral Act. Race for PDP ticket. Saraki, Tambuwal, Mohammed meet Atiku, Anyim, others on likely consensus. Obi joins race, more aspirants pick nomination forms. All right, let's see if there are more stories we can take just before we bring Jide Johnson on. $3.27 billion crude oil stolen in 14 months, still on the Nation newspaper. And on the red strip on the bottom of the page, over 9.7 million pupils at risk. Obiano regains freedom, passport seized. Those are all the stories you can find on the front page of the Nation newspaper this Friday morning.
Well, we do have Jide Johnson on standby who joins the conversation. Once again, good morning and thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
It's a pleasure to be with you and good morning to our viewers all over the world.
All right, so let's leave it open to you without asking you asking you specifics, but which of the headlines interest you as we went through the pages of the national dailies?
Well, let's start with the APC National Convention, which is less than 24 hours away. And we see postponing its national convention. You could see the as the national chairman of PDP, then your fate is sealed. And so when the president invites you to come and eat dinner with him, I don't know what the arrangement is in APC. But it should be cause for concern for everybody that we are seeing this kind of crisis bedeviling the parties. Now, if this type of crisis bedevil the party, when they get to government, the government will face if you move from APC, go to PDP, even issues over zoning or no zoning agreement. Mohammed Imam Anubi has declared his intention to run, and the president, the chairman of the party, Yocha, is telling them to respect the zoning arrangement, that whatever arrangement that is put in place should be respected. We see that there's a lot of heat in the polity. We hope the political class can come together and put their house in order. For example, there's another story which talked about some of the aspirants in the APC saying that the Section 82 and Section 84 of the Electoral Act, which requires consensus arrangement for all aspirants to have a written agreement, must be adhered to for them to go. But politics being what it is, I am sure there's a lot of horse trading. There's a lot of horse trading going on. When you see people raising their heads, throwing their hands, raising tantrum and saying, no, we are not aware of any development. It's just for them to get their stakes. And then at the end of the day, what you are going to have is going to be a coronation. It's going to be give and take. One thing that is also very, very funny to me is the emergence of Yola Omishore as the APC preferred national secretary from the Southwest. I just want the people that are presenting Omishore, let me go down the memory lane. Omishore was the deputy governor to Baba Akonde when Chief Bisi Akode was the governor of Osun State 1999 to 2003. Yola Omishore was the deputy governor to Akonde. And then there was a fallout. And that fallout, Omishore was labeled all manners of names. He was labeled as a murderer, as the person that was involved in the death of Chibola Ige. And then he won his election, was in election as a senator in prison then. These people that annihilated Omishore then are the same people promoting him. If you're a young man and you are listening and you are just joining politics, be careful of who you fight with on behalf of the Nigerian political class. They are just the same. If anyone had told you 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Baba Akonde would be advancing the candidature of Yola Omishore, you say it's not possible, they should take it to the Marine. In Nigeria, there's no political ideology.
Jide Johnson, does this not bring us, to the issue of, the political parties that we have? The fact that this is where you talk about the fundamentals of democracy. And so if you don't have it right at this point, then it means it might necessarily not be right, even if you have a political party trickling down. And so the issue of ideology, having political parties having an ideology where they stand for and what they stand for. And also, would all of this not also mean that being that the APC came into power in 2015 as a result of, combination of various political parties, and so you would still have different political parties with different interests or ideology coming together, and that might just be the reason for all of this clash that you have, and projecting some persons, like you have questioned the character of some persons that have been questioned for some position at the national level of the party.
I'm not questioning the character. I'm just questioning, I'm highlighting the arrangement of people that were at cross political purposes coming together. People that in the southwest of the Southwest that have been characterized as political. I don't know what to use for it, but that's just it. For almost 7 years, the APC has been a political party. It should have been able to harmonize itself, build a consensus, and have a common thought. You shouldn't be talking about founding fathers and non-founding fathers in APC today, because having been formed in 2013 and in 2015, he got elected at the national level and won most of the states and the National Assembly. Since 2015 to date, the APC has been controlling most states, they have been controlling most of the National Assembly and the presidency. We thought that you should have been able to harmonize their thoughts. But my own take is just to educate people out there that don't just fall prey to all their political shenanigans. When they are fighting among themselves, they know how to reconcile themselves. I've said it over and over time again. There's no difference between PDP and APC. There's no difference in the Nigerian political class. The Nigerian political class don't care about you. They are not leaders, they are dealers. They engage in deals on how to secure and win power. So if it means talking to their arch enemy for them to win election, they will use their arch enemy. Now, I can tell you for a fact, as a strategist and as a communication expert, the reason why they are advancing the candidature of Omishori, for example, as a national secretary, because he's a grassroots politician. He's a tough dude. He's not someone you can take for a ride. They needed to have someone that has a voice and has the force of personality to represent their own interest in the formation of the National Executive Committee and the National Working Committee of APC. So if they control the chairman, they have the secretary to themselves, and they are. So it is political expediency that has made them to use him. So that's just. However, if we go into the moral ground, the moral basis, and the politics you have played in the Southwest, and they are played in the Southwest, and the enmity they have created in families, and the bad blood they have sold over the characterization of some characters that are coming together, then you understand what I'm talking about. And like you pointed out, if something is wrong with the party, something will be wrong with public governance, because the basis, the foundation for public governance is the political party. Whether PDP or APC, the parties are in shambles.
Let's talk about the PDP too for one moment. As the Daily Trust has captioned it, it's as though they're both in troubled waters, as it were, because they're seemingly the two prominent parties in the country. From what Daily Trust has captioned, North-South in epic battle over presidential ticket. Would you think that this issue of zoning might be the undoing of the People's Democratic Party as they head to polls in 2023?
The PDP had a consensus arrangement in picking Ayo. The national chairman, there's a tradition, like how you said, you listen to the chairman, that they have a tradition in zoning their president. Now, for the national, when the national chairman goes to the north, the president comes to the south. That has been the arrangement of PDP, and that's also the arrangement that APC borrowed from, because there's no difference between PDP and APC. The actors and players today in PDP today were the actors and players in APC in 2014, 2015. Tambuwal, Atiku, Saraki, all picked presidential form of APC. They all picked presidential. All of these actors are now in PDP. So you now tell me what's the difference between the PDP of 2022 and the APC of 2014? A year before the presidential election in 2015, and a year before. So that's the arrangement. But as the national chairman, I'm sure Ayu will want the party to be successful in the polls, and I want a crisis-free arrangement. But like I've said, there's no difference. The two parties can't put their house in order. I asked you this question. We are faced with the devil and the deep blue sea. What are the choices before Nigeria? If you look across the coastline of PDP and you look across the shoreline of APC, in terms of those aspiring to be president, it is the same set of people that have been part and parcel of public administration in Nigeria. And none of the aspirants has come up with any policy or programs on how to transform this country for good.
Okay, so let's quickly look at this as we coast it down. It's on the Punch newspaper. It talks about Fashola reinstating the second Niger Bridge 2022 completion date and blaming the fact that all of this has not been completed due to IPOP. Well,
I remember when Fashola gave a speech at Tinubu's colloquium when he was still governor, I think a year before the expiration of his tenure. And when he said that all the people managing the economy, he in Nigeria, then they call them the Batwayers. The Batwayers, and they all clapped and they all laughed. And he has been given opportunity. I'm not sure there's any Minister of Works that was Minister of Works for 7 years. At the end of the day, this scorecard of Fashola will be brought before the public. And then history will put him in the rightful place he belongs to, because he used to condemn a lot of actors and players at the national level when he was governor of Lagos State. But from experience and from what you have seen, he has demonstrated that he's the Batwayer, actually. He's the Batwayer himself, because he's been giving excuses left, right, and center with respect to, he talked about power, that any serious government that did not provide power for 6 months does not know what he's doing. He was there for Minister of Power for 4 years. There was nothing that came out of it. So I don't reckon with such characters that will come on that will use every opportunity to advance a position because they are not in position of power. And when they get to position of power, they start giving excuses. In fact, his own tenure, we evaluate it. Don't let me see anything now, so that I'm a bit biased. We evaluate his tenure at the expiration of it. He's coming back home. When he come back home, and we'll say it to his face, if he is indeed a Batwayer, or those that were there were at the national level when he was governor of Lagos State, whether they are the Batwayer or is Batwayer 2.0.
But how did the activities of IPOP, or how did IPOP affect the completion of the the second night?
He's giving excuses. He's giving excuses. That's what I'm saying. He's giving excuses. And why should people take the excuses given? That the activities, you have the security apparatus of nation. The East is heavily militarized. It's heavily militarized. You travel to the East, and then he's giving he's saying blackadash.
All right, let's stay with the Punch newspaper. There's a story just above the masthead. IOCs fear collapse as federal government says 1.36 trillion naira crude stolen in 14 months. How do you react, Jide Johnson?
Well, the probe panel to probe NNPC from the fourth assembly to the night we are in now, they probed NNPC. Nothing has come out of the report. You remember the NNDC's probe? Honorable Minister dropped the mic. Nothing has come out of the report. Now you are now hearing the report that is stolen crude oil. So what do I have to say concerning that? You always hear different, because there are some institutions in the state that are higher than the state, like NNPC, like NDCDC. These institutions, they are institutions that even the National Assembly does not have oversight function. And when they exercise their oversight function on these agencies, NSPPC is bigger than the federal executive. We have seen. So that they are stealing our crude oil. We don't have an account. They've been saying it. We have listened to different types of probe panel. In actual sense, on the issue of NNPC, we have seen that a former chairman of our appropriation committee in the House of Rep has gone to jail because of corruption that is tied to that. So as far as I'm concerned, we don't have any record. You can try illness. When you begin to look at our oil and gas industry, you can run, you can go, you can't venture illness. And I don't want to be Kulu mentality, like Fela said. And that's just unfortunate. Because we don't have record of how many crude they pump in a day. NNPC does not declare its account publicly. They operate outside the shores of what the Auditor General and no one has control over NNPC. That's just the truth. And no country operates like that. If you go to Saudi Arabia, you see Aramco. Aramco's records are there in the public. Petronas record. Petronas is in Brazil. Is the oil trading company in Brazil. It's in the public domain. And people will operate in Nigeria as if we exist in isolation. As if Nigeria is Robinson Crusoe in the Committee of Nations. Stranded on an island of its own, operate within the sphere of its own world, as if there are no other countries that that have similar attributes with us. The other oil producing, you see what we are seeing in Nigeria and Iran. Do you have that in Russia? It is Gazprom. For Russia, it is Gazprom. For Saudi Arabia, it is Aramco. For Brazil, it is Petronas. Do you have that in Iran?
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
It is the same set of people. It is the same set of people that were there during military regime. Don't forget, the president was Minister of Petroleum in 1977. And today is still the Minister of Petroleum.
Why is that?
Something to change.
Why is that? But I'm not expecting that you give me an answer immediately because we're at a time now. Thank you so much, Jide Johnson, for being part of the show this morning. We do appreciate you.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Have a wonderful weekend and grab your popcorn and your soft drink and enjoy the APC House of Drama as they go for their national convention.
Thank you, Jide Johnson. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, Jide Johnson. I like the popcorn and the soft drink for the national convention as though we would be watching a movie. That's as much as we can take on Off the Prep. We'll be going back this day in history, and when we come back, we'll be having our first conversation for the day. To join us again.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Welcome back to the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Now, the North-South divide in the People's Democratic Party (PDP) over zoning of the 2023 presidential ticket is widening. Presidential aspirant Aminu Tambuwal, Sokoto State Governor, said that instead of talking about zoning, the party should give the ticket to the candidate that can win the election. But Southwest leaders of the main opposition at the meeting hosted in Ibadan by the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, insisted that the South should produce the presidential ticket. A leading light of the PDP in the zone attended the meeting. Now, their position is in sync with that of South-South governors and leaders, which expressed on Monday at their meeting in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. We are now being joined by Dino Odeyemi. He is the Deputy Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Good morning to you, Mr. Odeyemi. Thanks for joining us on the breakfast this morning.
Good morning, thank you. And I would like to correct the impression that I am the present Deputy National Publicity Secretary. I was. That means I am a former Deputy National Publicity Secretary.
So you're now the present Deputy National Publicity Secretary?
Former, yes.
All right, thank you for that correction. All right, let's talk about what's happening in the PDP right now. There seems to be an ongoing battle of the soul, as it were, for the People's Democratic Party. 2023 is just around the corner, and right now the party is seemingly at a crossroads when it comes to who should be bearing the flag of the party, for the presidential ticket. Should it be the North or should it be the South? So would you really say that it's one issue that might, cause a whole lot of disharmony if it is not really put, to order?
It is not going to be an issue, really.
Why not?
This is the political season. This is the time for people to aspire. This is the time for competition. And it is the time for people to talk about zoning, where the president should come from. So it's a process, and we are going through the process gradually. So it's not a crisis, it's not an issue, it's a process that will end up or resolve somewhere very, very soon.
When you say it is a process that will be resolved very soon, there's a whole lot of politicking going around, a lot of people declaring their intention. Tambuwal has declared, and some people from the South, have also declared. But don't you really think it's actually like working in cross purposes, really?
Politics is a game, and it involves a lot of strategy. If you see Obi attending the declaration of Atiku, and Obi is also a candidate, an aspirant, you should know that it's a game. So when politicians are playing their game, journalists should just continue to watch. And just like I said, by May 28th, when PDP will have its primary election, it's going to end somewhere.
Okay, but Mr. Odeyemi, let's also look at the issue that's plaguing the country right now, and it's the fact that you have a lot of agitation across. And this agitation is as a result of the fact that a lot of persons feel marginalized. And if there's marginalization, what we think that the 2023 elections, would correct all of the ills of the current, the current reality of our country. Security concerns, the issue of marginalization, the reason that you have different persons saying we want to go our different ways. So don't you think that it would be fair for the sake of equity, fairness, justice, that the PDP should zone the presidency, to different zones? For instance, the North Central, the Northeast, and the Southeast. Since 1999, people from the North Central have not been elected as president. And you also, the same for the the Southeast. Don't you think that it would be fair at this point in time, if the PDP will want to, take over, wouldn't it be fair for, at the party level, for persons in this region, to come out with candidates that could be allowed for consensus?
I want to believe that our problem in Nigeria is not even about where the presidency comes from. It is about the constitution we operate. It is about fragmentation here and there. And it is about the imbalances in the administration. And if we put all this together, you will know that the presidency coming from anywhere does not signify failure. What it shows is that we need to redefine ourselves in Nigeria and a lot of policies. Having said that, PDP is a political party that believes in zoning. And that is why about 31 people, one from each state, have been selected to go and look at the formula that will ensure that PDP wins election in 2023. It is this committee, I think they were inaugurated yesterday. They will come back to the party to tell us where we should zone our presidency to and where we know we can win election. Not only that, it involves the personality too, because if we are putting anybody from any zone that is not known, that is not popular, that does not have that if you check his background, if you conduct a kind of a background check on him, Nigerians will reject him at the poll. PDP will not feature such a person. So we are at the process of presenting somebody that we know that in 2023 we just want to win that election. So Sony is part of PDP, and for the mere fact that the last 16 years that PDP spent in office was majorly spent by people from the South, that is Obasanjo, Jonathan. We are convenient, it is easier for us to say, yes, you can pick from the North. And at the same time, we can say that if APC, because this thing involves a lot of strategy, if APC is picking from the South, which obviously they have to do, what we are now saying is the best thing for us in PDP is to pick a capable person from the South too to match APC, so that at the end of the day, we will know that Buhari has served 8 years, and it will be very wrong for PDP to go again to the North. So we have the two issues, and by the special grace of God, it will be resolved by this committee that has been empowered to look at situation so that PDP can win election.
All right, Odeyemi, but presidential aspirant, Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Tambuwal seems to believe that the issue should not really be about zoning, that it should be about who can bring a victory to the party. I just want you to analyze that statement and if that's really the way forward, for the People's Democratic Party.
No, but just before you react to that, let's be very fair. Let's talk about, I mentioned the issue of fairness and equity. And it's a good thing that you have mentioned the Constitution. But it feels like when it comes to a certain region, the issue of the Constitution becomes very big. You have mentioned, the South, but not necessarily the Southeast. And a lot of people are thinking that if the PDP would make any progress in 2023, they should think about zoning to the Southeast for the issue of, fairness and equity. Yes, we understand that zoning has not been adopted into the Constitution. Some people have described this as a gentleman agreement. And so how would you really describe this, juxtaposing that with, the concern that he's raised?
In all this discussion, we have been talking about South. We have not mentioned or be specific about Southwest, Southeast, or South-South.
We have mentioned the Southeast.
No, you are mentioning Southeast. What I'm saying is both the Southwest, the Southeast, and the South-South. What they are still saying right now is that give us the presidency in the South. Once it gets to the South, we will sort ourselves out within, obviously, Southwest is out of it. It's between South-South and Southeast. So when we get to the bridge, we know how to cross it. So we are not foreclosing any region, at least Southeast or South-South. All we are saying is give it to us in the South first. Then we know how to sort it. Then reacting to your question, I couldn't remember the question again from
Justin.
No,
yes.
I was actually asking you to analyze what presidential aspirant Aminu Tambuwal talked
okay, Tambuwal, yes.
Yeah.
Tambuwal is an aspirant. He's campaigning for himself, and he's saying something that will favor him, that will make him to emerge as the presidential candidate of PDP. So whatever he's saying is just to favor his side. And all what we are saying is, yes, if we are saying that we should win the election first, before we start talking about, disputing the position. Where is the logic? The only way to win the election is first agreeing that we are zoning it to so area and we are bringing out a candidate. Once we have not gotten to that stage, if you are now saying, yes, I am the only one that can win election for PDP, I think that is not too fair for other aspirants and other regions.
So what's the fate of some people who have, like Mercy has mentioned, some people who have felt marginalized over time, who have not actually, seen that glimpse of hope of getting, the presidential ticket, like maybe the North Central people from likes of Kogi State, from Benue State, and the likes who feel that over time they are part of the minority. Would they actually be in full support of the PDP when eventually they make their issue of zoning open to members of the party?
I don't want to preempt the 31 leaders committee set up by PDP, to look into all these issues. I'm sure there are experienced politicians, there are technocrats, and there are people who know the formula for us to win election in 2023. Of course, they will come up with their own recommendation, and the party has a system of looking at whatever is brought before it. It will be subjected to National Executive Council decision, which is going to be the final, going to pronounce a final statement on the committee. So let's wait until they come up with their own suggestions, and all what you are saying right now, that some regions have been marginalized, I think will be taken into consideration.
Okay, but let's begin to look at this now. Some people are saying that there might just be a problem if you have the APC, zoning it, to the southwest. It might just really be a problem for the PDP come 2023.
How can it be a problem? As a matter of fact, we expect APC to bring their candidate from the southwest. So it's not new to us. And don't forget, just like I said, we are also strategizing towards winning this election. Let them come up with their own candidate from the southwest. Then you will see PDP in action. So we are not afraid that it's never a threat.
So, but the clamor.
We are even praying that they should bring their candidate from the southwest.
So, if the APC zones to the southwest and the PDP, because the talk right now is still about the north central, and what have you, we really don't seem, as much as you have stated that there might just be zoning to the south, not necessarily not knowing whether it's going to go to the southeast or it's going to go to the southwest, but the south really. So if it gets to, the APC for the southwest and the PDP stays with the north, I mean, how does that really pan out for Nigerians?
Nigerians will have to decide which candidate they want. That's the beauty of democracy. If PDP is presenting a candidate from the north and the APC decides to bring their own from the southwest, of course, they have justification to bring from the southwest, because there is no way they can pick a candidate from the north again, with Buhari spending almost 80 years in office now. So definitely they have to look towards the south. And if on our own we feel that the best way to win this election, or Nigeria does not, because we don't have to follow the APC timetable or their own agenda. We don't have to look at their side. We are listening to Nigerians and we are watching what Nigeria wants. So that is the reason why we are saying that as far as PDP is concerned, we are free to choose from either the north or from the south. But we will do our own calculation very well, just because we want to win election in 2023.
All right, since all indications are hovering towards the People's Democratic Party, bringing its candidate from the south, maybe southeast or south generally, maybe the southeast or the south. The question right now would be if there would be, a formidable person or candidate that can actually, match the APC, side by side, toe for toe at the end of the day, because most people feel that at the end of the day, it is a battle between the People's Democratic Party and that of the All Progressives Congress, APC.
In PDP, we are blessed with eminent personalities, experienced politicians that can govern this country very well. We are not short of men capable to rule this country. And that is why, if you look at APC today, most of the leaders there left PDP to go to APC. So what we are saying is, as far as we are concerned, most of their leaders or people they rely on as capable of ruling this country or being their chairman or party leaders migrated from PDP to APC. So we are not short of good men in PDP. So let APC present anybody from the Southwest. We will present somebody that personally will have won election at least 50% by his personality and caliber. PDP will only need to campaign and work for the rest.
Okay, there is also another trend of people picking tickets or buying tickets for candidates, and most times they haven't come all out by themselves to say that they are the ones contesting, but other people have actually bought the forms for them. What does this really tell? Is it some sort of a gimmick or some sort of a cover-up? What does this really mean?
It is one of the political gimmicks. It is one of the way to tell whoever that they are being sponsored or the people want them, even if they are the one giving out the money to buy the forms. So it is an old way politicians do throw to the masses just to give the impression that they are it is the people that want them to come and contest. But actually, who will come out to contest without having that personal interest? Nobody. You have the interest first, and what you do is now to strategize. It's now to strategize and ensure that at least you give the impression that you are wanted by the people.
So, but I mean, just recently we have seen that more persons are declaring, and the likes of Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State, has joined the presidential race under the People's Democratic Party. Well, I'd like to share your thoughts on that. Also, moving forward, some people are thinking that it would be time that you have, of course, you look at him coming from the southeast. And some people would think that it would be time that, the party should throw weight around any candidate against the Southeast. But of course, it's the party. They have their structure. They have, whatever their decisions would always be their own decision. But do you think he stands the chance against the likes of Atiku, Tambuwal, and others?
Peter Obi, like other aspirants, is very formidable, is likable, and is somebody that has ideas. He's coming into the race is a very good development, and many of us have applauded it. The more the merrier. Let all of them come out so that we will have the opportunity of choosing which among them is the best, to be given the flag. Once we do that, it is part of our thoughts that in PDP in 2023 we want to win this election. And whoever we are putting forward as our flag bearer must be accepted, must be competent, and must be willing to serve the country of which Peter Obi represents, just like any other aspirant. So the more the merrier. Don't be surprised. Many people will still obtain form, but at the end of the day, the party will decide, the delegates will decide, and the latest time is May 28th.
But let me put it directly to you now. Let's just put it directly the way it is. He's from the, the Southeast, and that's it.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of clamor that, there should be some level of consensus, even though you say that the PDP is known for zoning. Zoning could also be zoned, and everyone could agree, to zone it to the Southeast. And you have mentioned that he's not a bad candidate whatsoever. Don't you think that the PDP should be tilting towards having all of this weight thrown around this particular candidate? I'm just saying, I'm just asking.
When you talk of PDP is not an individual, that can say, okay, all of you go there. No. And that is why in PDP, our motto is power belongs to the people. At this special stage, power belongs to the delegates. It is the delegates that we choose who is going to be the flag bearer of the party. And what I'm saying in essence is the delegates themselves are not dummies. They know what is good for Nigeria. They know what is good for the party. They know who the party can present and get enough votes from all sections of the country. So Peter Obi will be one of the people to be considered along that line, not necessarily because he is from the Southeast. Of course, he's not going to be the only one that is coming out from the Southeast. But just like I said, he's one of the best, that PDP can present, just like many other aspirants.
I still am wondering the many other aspirants, because you have said succinctly that the People's Democratic Party has lots of formidable, aspirants or candidates who can fly, the flag of the party, when you finally, decide come May this year. But from what we have seen so far, and those who have indicated interest so far, we have likes of Aminu Tambuwal and the former the Vice President Atiku Abubakar. But if the People's Democratic Party is going to tour the way down to the south, so far what we have seen or what we know are Peter Obi, Anyim Pius, and of course the Rivers State governor. So what more do we hope to see playing out over time?
You will see a lot of people coming out to aspire. It is an interesting game. And as it is now, for the mere fact that they are even obtaining form, is giving hope to the delegates that come May 28th, we will have the opportunity to choose among too many aspirants. So it's a good development. And don't be surprised, even in the Southwest, some people are still going to, collect this nomination form. And simply because it is the game. Some people will want to be part of the meeting, pre-meeting of aspirants to select the best. It is still a process, it is a system. So when you see people obtaining form, it does not mean or it does not indicate that they actually want to go into the contest. Obtaining a form may be an opportunity for you to sit down among aspirants, pre-discussion, or even trying to select a consensus candidate. Some people will want to be part of that process, and as a result, obtain form. It is when we get to this, to the field on May 28th that we know the number of aspirants that has come out, and the delegates will now decide which of these aspirants are better or is the best to fly the flag of the party.
Well, we totally understand all of the things that you're saying. We're saying that it's a good thing that the PDP has said that zoning is on the table. There's a zoning committee. And, just like Nigerians are asking, would it not be a thing that the PDP should consider? Should it be, left to negotiation? We understand that the PDP is a party. It has structures, and of course, it's an independent body, and so they're allowed to express their will and consent. But some people are thinking that this should be top priority zoning should not be an issue of negotiation, and to which particular region should not be, a thing where there should be some kind of delay. It would be, as a lot of persons have actually said, I mean, we're looking at political pundits now saying that it would really be in the favor of the PDP if the zoning to the south is. But you have constantly mentioned that. But just as we begin to close this conversation down, what should we expect moving forward now? Is there a possibility that, the issue of zoning, that the committee would actually sit on it and it would favor, the southeast region to be very particular, not necessarily just the south, but do you think it would favor the southeast?
Just like I said, if it's an hypothetical question, let us leave the whole thing for this committee to come up with something. And I want to tell you something again. Even if it is shown to the southeast, that does not mean that about 30, 40 aspirants can still not come out. Zone it to a local government, about 10 people will still come out. So that is the nature of aspiration, and that is the way of politicians. If you zone it to any region or to even to a local government, people will still come out to contest it. And according to the constitution of the party, a candidate can either emerge through consensus or through election. Even if it is by consensus, we still go to that field to elect or make sure that we vote for that person. That's what the constitution says.
All right, Mr. Diro Odemi, in all of this right now, what's the position of the People's Democratic Party, from all that we have seen? These are people that have been there all through the time, all over the years, some of them who have gone to the APC and are now back to the PDP. So what's the party doing as regards, maybe injecting or maybe pushing the interest of the younger people and new blood forward, ahead of 2023?
Yeah, I appreciate that question, and that is exactly what PDP has addressed in its series of forms. You will agree with me that the party came up with a kind of a formula that people or young people between 25 and 30 should pay 50% or 50% of the nomination fee. That's to encourage the younger element, into political positions. Not only that, women are even free. They are not even supposed to pay any money for nomination or for the form. So for the women it is free. For the young element in the party, it is 50% payment. That's to tell you that we have a policy in PDP that encourages the youth and the women to participate. I'm talking about older people or men who have crossed from one political party to the other. It is going to be part of the constitution of the delegates. Because somebody like me, we don't want somebody that will leave PDP today and go to APC tomorrow. And we are happy that the law is taking care of that with what is going on, with one of our governors who left our party to join the APC. But the court is now saying no. And I think other people will learn from that. And the new electoral law has said something about that and has taken care of that aspect. So maybe there will be a modicum of respect for political parties as we move forward.
So is it just about reducing the cost of getting these nomination forms? At the end of the day, even if they do get the nomination form, would they be given, the opportunity? Would they be given all the supports they need, to actually, fly the party's flag? Would they actually be, for instance, would the PDP ordinarily give a 35-year-old who has not been in the scheme of affairs for a while, the opportunity to run, to fly, its flag? But then again, so what else would it be doing to also make sure that they compete, favorably or maybe even better than the APC?
That is the unique aspect of PDP. That is what we promote. I can tell you, in my own local government, we have a young guy of 27-year-old who is in the House of Assembly. So it depends on even the individuals or the younger elements that is coming out for an election. They do the campaign, people listen to them, they look at their capability and the way they present themselves. So that is the winning formula. PDP as a political party does not have that power. to say because you are underage or because you are between 25 and 30, it is automatic. No. People at the grassroots or the delegate, we still look at you and assess you as one of the bright elements, that can be nurtured in PDP before they put you in office.
All right,
democracy
Mr. Adeyemi,
is about the involvement of everybody.
Let's quickly talk about the fact that you have members of the PDP divided. We have some governors who are not very pleased with the issue of zoning, and members of the National Assembly, talking about the zoning. Now, is this really good at a time where this is an opposition party, as we all know? Is this a good thing as you inch closer to 2023?
That's the beauty of democracy. And we
how democratic would this be for the PDP? I mean, everyone is expecting that it's just natural expectation of an opposition party, to be on top of their game. And if you begin to have division in the party, there's no way it's not going to trickle down ahead of the elections come 2023.
I understand that, and I appreciate the question. What I'm saying in essence is, there is time for everything. There is time to disagree and there is time to agree. If failure is staring us in the face like this, politicians will come together to say, yes, if this is what will make us to succeed, let us all come together. So it's normal if they disagree now, but before the election, we will come back to agree because we want to win together.
But because if you look at the time, it doesn't look like, the time is very near right now. And
in politics, 24 hours is a long time. Anything can happen. We can resolve among ourselves under 10 minutes. It's just calling a meeting of everybody and, presenting the situation. If you don't do this, you are going to fail. If you do this, you are going to win. So all the brains will be reset and we all come together.
You have constantly talked about the plans of the People's Democratic Party to take over power from the APC in 2023. How's that really going, at the party level? Across the 36 states of the Federation?
We are very optimistic.
Well, optimism has never really solved any problem.
We have strategized. And I don't have to disclose that now.
For the opponents,
I see. We start our campaign.
All right, we must say a very big thank you to you. We have been speaking about the issue of zoning and the People's Democratic Party, all of the issues who will fly the party's flag when they decide eventually come May 28. And we were joined by the former National Deputy Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Dion Adeyemi. Many thanks for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right. It is still the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. We'll take a breather right now. We'll come back and we'll be talking about a World Cup qualifier, Nigeria and its long arch rival, as it were, Ghana, in a moment. Stay with us.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
It's also equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you don't talk, they go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better? Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions. Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on PlusTvAfrica, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
We now start hearing the shoot of guns.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
It's still the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Time to talk football. The first competitive match between Ghana and Nigeria took place on the 20th of October 1951, the Jalco Cup to be precise, which Nigeria won 5-0. 4 years after that encounter, the Super Eagles suffered their biggest loss to the date in the hands of their rival when they lost 0-7 on October 30th, 1955 in the Jalco Cup. Now, the two West African countries, Nigeria and Ghana, have come against each other on 56 occasions, with the Black Stars edging out their counterparts with more victories, meaning that, Ghanaians have actually won the game most often. Now, Nigeria is seeking to qualify for the World Cup for the 7th time, and since 1994 have missed only one of 7 editions. The last of 3 appearances by Ghana was in 2014. Now, looking at, the qualifiers, as we are being told, you have the Super Eagles arriving already in Kumasi in Ghana for the game, which is slated to happen, the first leg happening today. We have Mighty George, who joins the conversation this morning. He is a sports journalist and communication director of Vanderza FC. It's good to have you join us this morning, Mighty George.
Good morning. It's great to be here on D-Day.
Okay. So but let's start off with the formation for the Super Eagles. Looking at the formation for the Super Eagles, you have the likes of Osimhen being going to be part of it, amongst others, and juxtaposing that, with the formation for the Black Stars. What should we expect today?
We expect one of the fiercest African rivals, as usual. Just like you got some of the stats there. Interestingly, Ghana has won more games competitively against Nigeria, but they haven't been to the World Cup as many times as Nigeria. They weren't at the last World Cup in Russia, so obviously this would be, a desperate Ghanaian side, added to the fact that they were very accumulated at the last Cup of Nations. Well, Nigeria went out one stage later, but Nigeria was clearly a better side until that, would I say, ill-fated game against Tunisia. So it's a fierce rival. Nigeria-Ghana is always, on and off the pitch, one of the biggest rivalries in African football. You could look at the other game that people will be looking out for, Egypt and Senegal, courtesy of their star players there who are incidentally teammates. But with the build-up has been great. We've seen our players, almost all the players expected turn up. The only snag was Maduka Okoye, who said he fell ill. And the headache would be about who starts in goal. I mean, that's even the headache for me as well. Francis Uzoho has proven to be quite reflexive. A player, he was the one at the World Cup in 2018. Later on, dropped down the pecking order when he moved to a 3rd division side. It wasn't that befitting for a Super Eagles player. And then came Maduka Okoye, but he's not around today. I'm thinking that, it's going to be a Daniel Akwe who is, playing more competitively in South Africa with Kaiser Chiefs. But that's the headache of the coach right now. Either of those 2 goalkeepers, we don't have any other choice. So Noble just came in, and he has even been on the bench for Aimba for, about 3 games. So that was a big controversial why they decided to put him in. Maybe because he's been part of the team in the past, but surely he would need to step up just in case, something happens to these 2 goalkeepers along the line, which we certainly doubt. The goalkeeping position is not, 10th choice goalkeepers don't go into a game thinking that they would, play on the day. We have our defense sorted. Good news, of course, William Tristekong is right there as well. Leon Balogun is returned to the side. Kenneth Omero is there as well. There's a power-packed backline in the midfield as well. It's great to see Joe Aribo, who will be there, marshalling things as well. And up front, we have a host of options. There's the new kids on the block, so to say. Emmanuel Dennis is there. Victor Osimhen is there. Emmanuel Dennis banging in goals. In fact, remember the last time what happened with Watford? They refused to let him go. That was how very important Emmanuel Dennis is to Watford FC. But I think he's repented now and he's forced that move. And there's even no way, Watford would keep him because it's an international window and everybody wants to go to the World Cup. And this is the opportunity. If you don't help the team, you definitely might not be considered if we qualify for the World Cup. So Nigeria has a very balanced side. I'm not sure about how long, if the time they've blended is enough, but that's it with international windows, especially with players who play abroad. You probably have about 2, 3, 4 days. And but I saw them in the videos. Of course, I can't be there because my team, Bandit FC, also have a game today in Lagos. So I saw the videos. I saw that the spirit is great. And, they're looking forward to victory today. Good thing that most of our strikers are informed. Lechi Henacho, of course, who will be playing a supporting role, no doubt, is informed, at least in the past month, he's featured, scored a goal or 2. Victor Osimhen just hit a milestone, scoring 11 goals, the first Nigerian to do that in the Serie A. And, so he's in top form after having missed the Africa Cup of Nations. They're looking so overbalanced this time compared to the Ghanaian side, who, of course, we hear that Dele Ayew is, out of 7 in suspension, of course. That was from the AFCON. Remember, he was issued a red card in the last group game against Comoros. We later heard that Jordan Ayew, tested positive, but that's all changed because the guy is negative and he's with the squad. There's Thomas Partey as well. Take nothing away from, Coach Otto Addo's side. They have a strong squad as well. They are playing at home in this first leg. Initially, they wanted to surprise us by taking us to Cape Coast in that very lousy stadium. But now we're at Baba Yara, which is a much better stadium. Ghana is like Nigeria when it comes to supportership. So we expect that we'll get lots of Nigerians in there to cheer the Super Eagles. Can they play well? Yes, they can. Can they score goals? Yes, they can. And they'll have to do it more in the first leg, and so that the second leg will be a formality. So I'm slightly tipping a win or a draw for Nigeria in Kumasi. Then we'll finish the job up on Tuesday.
A very fantastic analysis you have actually brought to the table there. I mean, you have fans saying that having 2 strikers, the likes of Igalo and Osimhen, we should expect a hat-trick there. But we see how all of that pans out. Now, as we begin to coast this conversation down, we as much as it feels like the Nigerian, side, the Super Eagles might just be in form, is there really any lacuna? Is there any gap that you think that they need to pay attention to before the game?
Well, I mean, Austin Eguavon would have probably played back the tape of the Tunisian game at the last couple of nations. We saw what we're missing there. The disconnect, from the midfield and how the strikers, the attackers, couldn't utilize their chances when they did have them, and how Tunisia closed us up after they scored that goal. It just looked like there was no penetration anymore. So I think that the midfield needs to be very, very alert and see how they can box the game. We have players that if you get the ball to them, they will score as well. At some point, the burden was so much on Moses Simon. How did Moses Simon just come out of nowhere and be our best player? I mean, he's a winger. He has his own part to play. But let's not expect him to get the goals. Everyone should do their job, and that's it. Osimhen wasn't there. We're left with Sadiq Umar. Well, nothing wrong with him. I mean, he went back to Italy and was scoring goals as well. We don't have a Taiwa Awoniyi now, but good thing we have Igalo, who knows how to put the ball at the back of the net. For Igalo, it's just simple. He's a maximum goal poacher. Get the ball to him and then score. So I think that we lacked that cutting edge in that game against Tunisia. And they would have, if I were the coach, I would have played that game back for them and see how the midfield also was strangulated, so to say, after that game against, during that game against Tunisia. The defense also needs to be very, very cautious because going for all-out goals. Thank God there's a VAR. I would have said, in African football, there's a lot of desperation. Ghana were beneficiaries of a horrendous refereeing decision that sent out South Africa from this same playoff. So don't forget, South Africa will be back in Nigeria as well. I mean, from all the way there in South Africa. So officiating is going to play a big part. They should be ensure that they don't trip any player in the box. Partey, you avoid those guys. Make sure they don't get into the box. Kenneth Omero would have a very, very serious role to play in the central defense. And I'm really wishing them all the best. But if you concede penalties there, trust me, the referee and the VAR might not help you. So I think it all depends. All departments
so in all of
be
this,
very alert to the sort of desperation that Ghana has going into this game. They did not qualify for Russia 2018. They were embarrassed from the Africa Cup of Nations. So we need to be very careful. So all departments are compact. They just need to be alert to the task at hand. I'll come later today.
Well, just as we coast it down now, so in all of this, you're saying that we need to up our game in terms of our tactics, because that has always been, the major issue for us. You probably might have fantastic players, have potentials, but how you deploy them and how you manage them to get you the result is what's important. Am I correct?
Excuse me, I can't hear what you're saying. There's so much noise in the background there.
Well, I'm saying that in all that you're saying is that we need to up our game in terms of our tactics. Mighty George.
Yes, I'm here. Up our game, obviously.
So are you saying that we need to up our game in terms of tactics, because it's okay to have a fantastic team, talented players, but how the coach deploys them is very important?
Surely.
Okay.
That's just the basis of it. I mean, even when I said you should play the tape, of the game, it was for Austin Eguavon to also look at and see where he made mistakes in terms of tactics as well. Leaving strikers on the bench when you're supposed to put them in early enough, and also giving instructions to the back line and all that. But I expect that we'll be having wing play.
Okay, but quickly, we're really out of time, Mighty George. Let me quickly bring this to you. So this been making the rounds. I mean, we saw the video of the Super Eagles arriving Kumasi yesterday. It felt like they were jumping from the aircraft. And some people say, oh, this was actually, it's on a lighter note, by the way. And some people, would say that this is actually a ploy. To get the boys destroyed, especially their legs, and it would just make it useless for them to be able, to push the ball around within the field. But we also have reports saying that this is not Ghana's fault. It has to do with the airline that brought them, and that's the Airpeace airline. So what are your thoughts on that, quickly?
Well, I mean, it's the Kumasi airport, so all those jet steps and the hangars and everything. I expect that they belong to the airport infrastructure. But if they say it's Airpeace, well, but that was quite funny. And it could have passed for a strategy by Ghana, to frustrate Nigeria. But you guess what? I mean, Ghana is like home to Nigeria. So no matter how much they try to frustrate us, I don't think it got to the players. I was particularly, humored by when you saw the
Mighty George, I have to let you go now. And I'm really sorry. Thank you so much for being part of the show. We appreciate your thoughts every other time on Plus TV Africa on The Breakfast.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're out of time. Sports journalist and communication director of Andreza FC. Being with us this morning, talking about Nigeria being part of the World Cup qualifiers. Justin is here. How many goals do you think? I was going to say how much. I think I like money.
I just wished Nigeria the best, and that's as much as we can take. Many thanks to all of you who have sat back to watch. My name is Justin Akadanye. See you again on Monday.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@plusttvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from Plus TV Africa.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
We now start hearing the shoot of guns.
Whatever I have done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
Good morning, I am Jacinta Obiuku. This is the news brief. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged leaders and members of the All Progressives Congress APC to channel their energies into improving the fortunes of the party in the forthcoming elections and avoid squabbling that easily distracts and creates disharmony. Receiving APC National Assembly leadership at the State House, the president reminded members of the proximity of the election dates set by INEC, admonishing that positions should be harmonized with a bigger picture of winning elections and providing good governance.
We have a couple of days to National Convention, and we must collectively ensure the success of the event. As you all know, the National Convention of our party, which we have committed, is holding on the 26th March 2022. And we cannot afford to do anything that will jeopardize the chances of the party in the 2023 general elections. A zoning template was produced and adopted by the party after wide consultation in order to ensure that the leadership of our party is reflective of our diversity in unity while representing our collective various dynamic interests, it is imperative that we adhere to the
national level. And of course, we have many states, about 22 states under the leadership of the APC governors, actually 22.5. We have half a state in Anambra where we have, no, it's gone already. But we have 22 states and control the federal government.
As many of you are aware, the president in the last couple of days has been having a meeting with stakeholders towards the convention that's coming up on Saturday. And the whole idea is to encourage all stakeholders to unite, present a common front, and have a peaceful, rancor-free, successful convention. That's what that meeting was about.
The Coalition of Northern Support Groups and the All Progressive Youth Stakeholders Forum has endorsed the candidacy of Abubakar Sadiq Said Fakai for the position of National Organizing Secretary of the All Progressives Congress. The convener, Muhammad Kashinga, announced this during a press conference in Abuja. He's calling on leaders of the party to consider party loyalty, experience, equity and fairness before electing the next set of members of the National Working Committee in the forthcoming convention.
Since the inception of the All Progressive Congress, Kebbi State has never been opportuned to produce a member of the All Progressive Congress National Working Committee. We therefore consider this as appropriate for this manifest. We hereby advocate that in the consideration of Kebbi State for this important National Working Committee position, we demand that youth should occupy the position of the National Organizing Secretary of our great party. It is on this note that all of us wholeheartedly endorse the candidature of Honorable Abubakar Sadiq Saad Fakai as the National Organizing Secretary of the All Progressive Congress.
Former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, has declared his intention to run for president in the coming general elections. Obi was the running mate of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and the 2019 presidential election made the declaration in Oka at the gathering of traditional rulers. He had attended an event where Atiku declared his intention to run again for president, and when asked why he attended the declaration event of a potential rival, he said Atiku Abubakar remained his leader and politics was not a war. The Association of Southern Nigerian Ethnic Youths has called on APC, PDP and other political parties to zone their presidential ticket to the southeast in the spirit of fairness, justice and equity in order to build a country devoid of any form of marginalization. The youth group said Southeast is the only zone in the southern region and has not produced a president for the country.
So facto, Southern Nigerian Ethnic Youth Leaders Assembly challenged Southeasterners to demonstrate capacity by giving Nigeria the most qualified, credible, and competent presidential candidate that will heal the wounds of Nigeria to achieve a prosperous country with effective economic revolution that would realign the nation towards the path of growth and development. And that for the sake of national patriotism and unity, the Assembly calls on pro-Biafra groups, especially the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and through their cronies and agencies, ESN, to drop any form of armed struggle and embrace peace and key into the Nigerian president of Southeast extraction as a means to heal from all forms of marginalization and so be reintegrated into the Nigerian political project.
The Nigerian presidency of Southeast extraction in 2023 is the antidote for fairness, equity, and justice in the nation's political stability and survival. Remember, in every instance of crisis or war, we, the youth, always fall the greatest victim because we are the real patriotic Nigerians who believe that with equity, Justice and fairness, the unity of Nigeria with every other tribe is a factor that is inevitable.
Harness the idea of trying to zone the system of governance in Nigeria, because some of the agitation we're experiencing today is as a result of the marginalization, injustice, the unfair treatment that the certain region of the country have been subjected to for a very long period of time now, and they believe they can't take it any longer.
Northern youths under the auspices of Arewa Concerned Civil Society Organization of Nigeria, with over 45 reputable civil society groups, have reaffirmed its earlier position on power shift to the south in 2023. The group, whose voting capacity cuts across all the polling units, wards, and local government area in the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory, insisted that for fairness, equity, and justice, the South should produce the next president. Our correspondent, Ababila Daufai, filed this report.
Northern youth are calling on Nigerians to support a Southern who have supported other regions to enjoy power over the years. Speaking at a world conference at Arewa House in Kaduna, the spokesperson of the group, Abdulsalam Muhammad Kazim, says since the return of democracy in 1999, power has been rotated between the South, West, and North. Kazim says the aim is to zone the presidency to the South in the spirit of unity, fairness, and equity to the nation, and to sustain a political friendship with people of the southern Nigeria.
In one pot and insist on power to be transferred to southern part of the country in the year 2023. And we call on all our southern people to drive this opportunity and support their own, also respect power rotation after 8 years. The fact that we are here agitating that power should be shifted to the southern part of the country does not mean we don't have people in other regions that are capable or competent of producing the president, vice president, speaker, and other positions. But because of fairness, we want this to be done.
They call on all political parties to zone their presidential candidate to the south, adding that any northerner contesting as president will be regarded as an agent of disunity and an enemy of the nation.
The presidency of Nigeria is about to leave northern Nigeria. Of what benefit is this presidency to northern Nigeria in the last 6 years? Rather, we are witness to wanton destruction of life and property. We are witness to cattle rustling, kidnapping, senseless insecurity up and down. So the presidency should shift to other regions and let them equally test the power of the #1 seat. We have to respect our integration, brotherhood, and unity.
The coordinator northwest of Disciples of Jagaban, Senator Sani Saleh, says power shift is a good thing.
The call for power shift to the southwest and the identification of a single individual with all the requisite qualities that is required to transform this particular country of ours with all the peculiar challenges that we have. We need somebody like Asiwaju to solve the problem for us.
Following the fire that broke out on Wednesday morning at the Bombo Bridge, the Director of Bridge and Design with the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Robo Oyemade, has revealed that the bridge was badly damaged, and as a result, the duration for the repair cannot be ascertained, and it is likely not to be soon.
This is the aftermath scene of the unfortunate explosion that happened here yesterday in a coal bridge linking to Akwawa Bridge. This has caused traffic diversion as Lagosians are finding it very difficult to go about their destination.
This is the order of the day for Lagosians. From road blockage to commuters trekking to the point where they could board a ride, and motorists struggling for alternative routes, as Lagos State Traffic Management Authority LASMA said there are now traffic diversion at Ebutero in order to link the inland marina. Nigerians shared what they termed their painful experiences.
This place we normally pass here direct to CMS, but as long as this thing happen now,
the traffic is so much that we cannot just go there directly. We have to carry our bike and cross to the other side. As you can see, everywhere is blocked.
We can't have an option is to use leg from where we are to cross this side and enter bus, and enter any means to go, because there's nowhere again.
The major road, so it's created a lot of confusion, a lot of problems for people, especially traders in this vicinity and those that are going to Lekki area.
Speaking on the state of the bridge, Oyemade disclosed that the bridge was badly damaged as a result of the dangerous items sold by traders under the bridge.
The effect of the inferno was massive on the structure. The elements of the members of the bridge were seriously heated up. The slab and the median had to budge out, forcefully out, which means the bearing, the beam, and the slab are gone.
He also said he cannot ascertain when the bridge would be repaired, as the bridge was earlier mapped out for repairs before the fire accident.
It is very unfortunate that we had this kind of incident at this period in time, because we have just awarded comprehensive repair of that bridge, and the contractor has just moved in.
World Tuberculosis Day is observed yearly to raise awareness about the serious bacterial disease that affects the health of the lungs. The day also highlights the social and economic consequences of tuberculosis along with its health impact globally. Plus TV News health correspondent Ngozi Kauhaichese reports.
Tuberculosis remains one of the world's deadliest infectious killers. Each day, over 4,100 people lose their lives to TB, and close to 28,000 people fall ill with this preventable and curable disease, according to World Health Organization. Global efforts to combat TB have saved an estimated 66 million lives since the year 2000. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has reversed years of progress made in the fight to end TB. For the first time over a decade, TB deaths increased in 2020. One of the major reasons was the disruption in access to TB services and the reduction in resources.
By the time you're coughing out blood,
Dr. Ndidi Nwosu, a TB consultant and community physician with over 20 years of experience, says that investing to end TB isn't about fund, rather the need to save more and do more.
Currently now, spending for TB in-house is low. A lot of efforts are coming from outside the country. So we need to also get our governments, our communities, our hospitals, everybody to contribute their own quota. Insurance, HMOs, the insurance, National Health Insurance Scheme, everybody should contribute their own quota in ensuring that we are spending money to get rid of this disease. This disease is terrible. Not only does it kill, the person that has TB is capable of giving 12 to 15 people in a year.
This deadly but curable disease has different symptoms and is contagious. However, according to Dr. Ndidi, Nigerians should be scared about the disease as they rank the highest burden of TB in Africa.
Fever, weight loss, night sweats. The cough doesn't have to be the very strong one, because I don't want this patient to wait until he has severe TB. Now, it's severe TB that we can say, we don't see so many. But that person that has mild form of TB can still die from that TB if he's not treated. So once the cough is there, no matter how soft or light it is, please take the sputum and have it tested using GeneXpert. The reason why we talk about GeneXpert and TrueNat, which are new technologies, because they also help us test for resistant TB. So not just to see if it's the normal TB that majority of people will have, but if there's resistance, we have to go straight to the resistant TB drugs. Fever, it doesn't have to be very high. It could be mild fever. It could be recurrent, okay? Because it's a chronic illness, the fever is not always very high. Weight loss, the person usually loses weight. If he's a child, the child doesn't gain weight as he should. And night sweats. And the night sweats as a result of fever breaking. That is why there's this drenching night sweats amongst sufferers of TB.
Ramonth Hassan, a 48-year-old tuberculosis survivor, who initially thought he had malaria before discovering he had TB after tests, shares his experience and how his treatment improved his health positively.
I was still smoking. It was the last day that I'm going to die, that I will not be on earth. That was that day I came back to this hospital here. I went through difficulties of challenges. I don't sleep well. I find it difficult to eat. Instead of me to eat, I will have to use alcoholic to take my time just to sleep.
Medical experts advise people with prolonged cough and fever to visit the hospital and get treatment, as it's free and available in Nigeria. They say once the lungs are damaged, treatment may continue, but a miracle will birth survival. Ngozika, Ohio Chesi, Plus TV News.
Other parts of Africa, the death toll from twin attacks in central Somalia has climbed to 48, with Al-Shabaab insurgents claiming that we are targeting politicians ahead of elections. The leader of Hirshabelle state said the first attack in Hirshabelle's Beledouin district was carried out on Wednesday night by a suicide bomber and killed 2 local lawmakers, including Amina Mohammed Abdi and several of her guards, as she campaigned for re-election.
Somalia has beefed up security. Its death toll from twin attack rises to 48. The first attack happened in Beledouin district and was carried out on Wednesday night by suicide bomber and killed 2 local lawmakers, including Amina Mohammed and several of her bodyguards, as she campaigned for re-election. As far as we can confirm, 48 people were killed and 108 others injured in the twin blast. The government is now urging its citizens to be vigilant even as the election period nears in the Horn of Africa. The government further reassured people of security in the coming days. God willing, we will not be disappointed. We will continue working on public services, whether it is about holding elections or other social development aspects. God willing, we rely on God and will do all what we can. We are urging citizens to be very vigilant, and we are ordering all security agencies to beef up security. Al-Shabaab has been seeking to overthrow the country's fragile government for over a decade. The Horn of Africa nation has seen a spate of attacks in recent weeks as it hobbles through a long-delayed.
Outside Africa, President Volodymyr Zelensky has thanked the EU for standing with Ukraine, but urged them not to be late with their membership in the Union. Zelensky, who addressed the EU leaders as they met in Brussels, said is to discuss new sanctions against Russia. Said he was grateful for the sanctions imposed on Russia, but noted that they had been a little late in acting. Earlier in the day, Zelensky appealed to NATO leaders to increase military support for his country against Russian forces, warning the next target could be alliance members in Eastern Europe, including Poland. Militaries in South Korea and Japan said North Korea has fired what may be at least 1 ballistic missiles towards the sea off its east coast. The first apparent test launch since a missile reportedly exploded in the mid-air last week. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said North Korea used a long-range ballistic missiles in its latest test. Japan's government also reported the launch and said it could be a ballistic missile. On March the 16th, North Korea launched a suspected missile that appeared to explode shortly after liftoff in the skies over Pyongyang, South Korea's military said, amid reports that the nuclear-armed North was seeking to test fire its largest missiles yet. On business news, the federal government says its investment in Nigeria's health sector has more than doubled over the past 5 years, from 305.1 billion in 2016 to 876.4 billion naira in 2022. Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed at the Primary Health Care Summit in Abuja said the quality primary health care is indispensable to achieving a universal health coverage in Nigeria. She said that there is a need for reimagining PHC that will provide health at the lowest cost without compromising the standard and quality of products and services. On entertainment news, South Korea's distinctive K-pop music genre has swept the world in recent years. Its catchy tunes and flashy dance videos make international stars of its top performance, but not every element of the global phenomenon is actually made in Korea. Some of the genre's dance moves are being curated in neighboring Japan by 20-year-old dancer and choreographer Reina Kenako. Kenako, known online as Reina, began dance lessons as 5 years old, created her first original choreography for a competition a few years later, and by middle school was teaching hip-hop dance workshops. On sports news now, two African powerhouses, Ghana and Nigeria, go head-to-head in the first of their two-legged playoff tie at the Babayara Sports Stadium, Kumasi, at the final battle for a place at the 2022 Qatar World Cup begins. Both countries have endured a fierce rivalry since they first clashed in 1951 when Nigeria emerged winners with a 5-0 win. But that was one of the few times the Super Eagles had cause to celebrate. In the 56 games that followed, there have been 19 draws and Ghana claimed victory in 25 of the rest. The Eagles haven't recorded a win against their fierce rivals in their last 4 meetings, losing tries with a draw, and will hope to put an end to the winless streak, knowing that a win in Kumasi will brighten their qualification chances. In his 7-6, 4-6, 6-1 win over Federico Delbonis in Miami Open first-round match, the former world #1 held his nerve through a tight first set before breaking serve to open the second and pulling away.
Obviously, tough match. He's played extremely well on the hard courts in the last few seasons. Deserves to be right up there at the top of the game. So yeah, big challenge for me, but great test. I've got a big training block after this tournament, and it'll be a really good test for where my game's at and the things I need to work on as well against him.
And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Jacinta Obiuku. Thanks for watching.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.